Holla ballers, it's Friday, and as you know we take it easy on Friday. Well, not really, but I'm going to go meet some people and hopefully sort out some cheap hardware for you guys. Boom! And also it's Webshow weekend, which means tomorrow, Saturday, it is the Webshow. Saturday the 16th at 8 PM GMT. I'll post the times up in the background so you can see them. Woo! Please come and check us out on twitch.tv/preachlfw, especially to you new guys. We've had like 1,600 people join since the 10K anniversary show. Come and check us out, guys. Come and have fun with us. It's a live show for and a couple of hours with me and Ghost talking about all things gaming and all sorts of other crazy stuff. Especially if you like your movies, come and check us out. We're going to move on to the theme, which is Diablo 3's Real Money Auction House. Woo! Okay, so the Real Money Auction House is in the game. It's live. It's happening. Ha 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 ha. We have all this good stuff. Let's check it out. Switch to pounds. Okay, now in the last mail, I spoke specifically about the fact that the Real Money Auction House is not going to be an effective way to make money. That is just not going to happen if you're looking to pay the bills and stuff. However, some of you are very determined to make something out of the Real Money Auction House. So some of you might not know this, but my actual qualifications IRL, my degree, as we call it over here, is in international economics, which is in the trading of money and how money works across the globe. So I'm going to give you some tips and stuff. Some of you are determined to make this work, so I'm going to try and talk you through a little bit of how to make this work. And let me just get this squeaky toy away from my puppy. He's enjoying his squeaky toy a hell of a lot. And I don't blame him as well. He's just had his injections, which means he can go and play out with other dogs soon. I'm going to take that off your hands, Ben. You be good there. Okay, so Real Money Auction House, as we can see on the very front page, there's quite a few people who are posting stuff for small items, looking for bids, that kind of stuff. That's cool. So what did we predict in the initial release of the real life auction house? That was that people would be sort of excessively spamming this. So if I was going to go strength, level 60 items, go. There we go. We got quite a few buyouts there. £200, looking for the maximum amount of money they can possibly get for those items, and so on and so forth, down to £100. Okay, so we're going to be looking at this from the perspective, firstly, of someone who is trying to get the most money possible, and someone who is prepared to wait for that money to come. There's two aspects to economics. One is people are sometimes prepared to wait a long time to make a big return. Artists are something like this, okay? An artist will spend a hell of a lot of time creating a piece, and they are prepared to wait a considerable amount of time in a lot of occasions in order to get the maximum return for their investment into their artistic talent. Artists generally are not looking to produce a hell of a lot of stuff very, very quickly and looking for small returns on each. They want their artistic thing to come and fly, their artistic vision to fly, and people to pay them a large amount of money in order to see the return. Now, if you're going to be someone who goes ahead and tries to get the maximum amount of money in real life, the Real Money Auction House of Diablo 3, you better be damn sure that when you post your item, it is the absolute best item on the auction house at that time. This is super, super important. You have to remember, the people who are prepared to go ahead and spend a lot of money on the Real Money Auction House are likely to not be very, very good players, okay? We call them noobs, whatever you want to call them. They're likely to be people who are of the mindset that the gear makes a difference. As an experienced player, and as some of you are starting to learn, and especially someone who's defeated content in RPGs, not just World of Warcraft, well before the actual gear level of that encounter was met, I've defeated several encounters well below the gear level I should have had in order to defeat that content. It actually comes down to your ability to play, but the vast majority of people actually believe that gear is the ultimate solution to everything. So if you're going to go and post an item, you've had a really lucky drop, you're really happy with it, you think you want to stick it on the Real Money Auction House, and you are someone who's prepared to wait for that return, then you're going to be thinking about putting it up for a high price. Now, you better believe that that item is the absolute best item on the auction house. So in this instance, I'm someone who's prepared to spend £200 on an item. Why you would do that in this game, I have no idea. That's none of my business, but some people will do it. Some people will, and you have to be understanding of your market, okay? You're actually going to be putting this item towards noobs. Now, it might seem offensive and elitist to call people that, but this is the truth, okay? The vast majority of people do not want to be helped. They don't want to come to a channel like mine, read through the strategies and how you should be interrupting and purging and all that good stuff. They just want to be able to pwn face and shit like that, okay? We don't fall into that category at all. We know that it's about playing better will get you the better rewards. So, On this one, you've got a duty drive, 84 strength, 105 dex, 50% damage, the best item on the auction house, and rightly so, he's pulled that up for the most expensive buyout, as he should have done. However, if we look just a couple of points down, the Glory Nexus, just below, with some strength and a lot of vitality, a nice big douchey weapon, is actually just less DPS. Now, you might be saying, yeah, but the stats on the Glory Nexus are actually better for what I want. Now, it doesn't matter if they aren't. What we're saying is that one, as a matter of fact, it could be super, super good for you. And you know for a fact that item is better than the duty drive, even though the DPS is less. The people who will be spending this money will not look at that realistically. Anybody who's going to buy really super expensive items is not going to be looking for the individual stats and gearing their character with a vast knowledge of the game. I guarantee you, okay? I really guarantee you. And if someone wants to go out there and spend that money just to prove a point, feel free to do so at your own peril. In general, people are going to look at this. DPS, that's it. That is all they will look at. In fact, most people will not even bother to put this preferred stat in. We'll get to that shortly. So if you're going to put your item up for the maximum amount of money, it better be at the top of the list. Understand that, because people will want to see that. If it has a gem slot, you better gem it with the best gem you can get, so it pushes it way, way up there in the DPS. Because all the people will look at who are willing to do this is, what is the DPS? Okay, that's the best item. It's £200 and it has the most DPS. Buy. End of story. That is all they will do. They will not go, well, that's got like, oh, it's got no vitality. I'm not really going to get any health. But the Glory Nexus is a little bit below it. That's also £200. Oh, that's got a load of health. I kind of need that health. What about this one here? Oh, that's got some dex but no vitality. As a barbarian, I kind of need that vitality and inferno content. You know, the decision-making process will be cut entirely. Believe me, it will happen. People are very lazy. People who with a lot of money to spend and people who want to throw away their money on this kind of thing will in fact just be the noobiest of the noob. All you need to be doing is making sure your DPS is the very top one. So if we were going to go ahead and drop this out, because I'm pretty sure from experience in the sales market, my day job is sales. That's what I do. I sell very expensive products to a lot of big businesses with a lot of money to spend, and I noob it up for them. I really do. I make it the noobiest solution ever, generally in terms of cost savings. I say, this will save you X amount of money. Yes, you could take this option and it might be better off for you. They don't care. They want to know what's the saving, and they want to know what is the DPS. So if we search this one, here we go. A lot of 200 buyouts here. Now let's look at the variation on this. So we can still see the duty drive is still at the top, but there's not much difference between these, and they're all for £200. The people who are going to spend it are only going to be buying the duty drive. Now, if your item comes in second, go ahead and also post that for the maximum amount of money, and you will pray that somebody buys a duty drive, and then your vain gavel, although it's probably awful for a barbarian, etc., it's actually not too bad, will probably hopefully get purchased. However, these down here, all for £200. There's even a blue on here for £200. People will not buy blues for the maximum amount of money. Come on, get real, people. And also looking here, if you are like almost 200 less DPS than the top weapon, they're not going to buy it. If I'm prepared to spend £200 on an item, I want the very best, and that is all I want. All these items on buyout and getting gradually worse in terms of DPS as we go down. Even 631 green, 631 DPS, level 60 green for £200 with a £20 buyout. That is somebody there who's hoping somebody will bid on it, but if they buy it, yay, happy days. It's not going to happen. Look at all this crazy stuff. Be aware, if you have an orange, believe me, people will spend on oranges as well. It's all about that fun factor, and I put fun in inverted quotes. People find fun in having different stuff. So orange is very different to the yellow. If someone spots an orange on there, they'll be like, holy cow, I can get that item and I will have an orange, and hardly anybody else will have an orange at all. Wow. It doesn't matter that the orange isn't actually that great. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, believe me. People will find it, especially if they go in... I think we can actually set the rarity, can't we? If I'm pretty sure we can. Yeah, rarity. Legendary. Oh, wow. Legendary. But there's a cheaper one for £70. £39, £29. Someone playing the game for £199. Loads of wizard spikes on there. People will look to buy that, okay? So if you're going to start playing this auction house, what you need to do is check where your item falls in terms of the DPS. That is going to be the key to your success, believe me. The actual other way of doing this, now believe me when I say, I just want to finish and summarize that, what I'm telling you there, is if you go ahead and you've got an item, you want to get the £200 for it, or the maximum currency available to you, what you need to be doing is make sure it's the absolute top of the list in this search. This is where the noobiest of the noob will hang out. They will just put in, oh, I want level 60, all, search, and job done, and that is all they're pretty much going to do. Anybody who's more picky will be looking through the preferred stats and maybe prepared to drop some money, but certainly not the £200. And remember, this is all about waiting a long time for your items, okay? This is about preparing to wait a few days, just hoping it comes up, maybe reposting it a couple of times just to make sure it's up there and hoping for that £200. If anything else is up for £200 or the maximum amount, and it is not the top of the list, it is unlikely to be bought. You're wasting your time and you're wasting your investment in actually putting it on the auction house in the first place, okay? Very important. The second approach is the way we actually make money in the real world, okay? We do not rely in general as a business that I work in during the day, as my business on YouTube, and as business globally. We do not rely on these one-off big payments. We don't. We like to do what we call multiple revenue streams and doing mass amounts of options for people. When we make money in World of Warcraft, when I'm on my hunt for gold in World of Warcraft, what we do is I have no less than 100 to 200 auctions up at a time. At any given time, you'll find the market with 200 options up there of mine in various different markets, touching every single thing. A lot of people like to corner one market. I'm going to be the jewel crafting guy. On the long run, that doesn't generally pay off because somebody will come into the market and will also try and steal some of that business from you. You then end up in a bidding war, reducing your prices over and over and over again, and then having to check on a regular basis, which is really bad for business. Any business that's having to constantly check their prices and especially relist their product at different prices, which can be quite difficult to do in terms of an auction house, that becomes really bad income overall because that's a lot of your time invested for a lot of messing around. We don't like that in business. We like everything to be out there and done. A variation of that is something like fuel, okay? Fuel for your cars. That is very easy to alter the price on, and they change that price on a pretty much hourly basis, especially in the UK. But that's all they need to do is change the signboard. That's the entire messing they need to do is change something at a back-end computer to a new price, and off they go. Job done. So what we're actually looking to do, if you're going to make some money on the auction house, this is my full-on tip for you guys, okay? This is how we do it, is you want to be listing as many items as possible for a reasonable price, okay? At first, I would start low and then work your way up to see what people are prepared to spend. I would not be aiming to pick up all this kind of money in the very early stages. I don't think that's necessary. What I would say is there's bound to be a market for people who are not level 60, especially starting new players. Happens all the time in World of Warcraft, things like glyphs and stuff like that, and especially gems. There's a huge market going to be developing around gems. That's going to happen as well. Trust me on that. It's going to be a little amount of money, but mass marketing. Lots and lots of gems up on the auction house of all various different types, going for small amounts of money and raking it in. That is the best way to play it. If you have a lot of items, a lot of yellows, get them out there, especially if you know your stuff, okay? If you don't know the difference between the main stats of this game, you are not going to be successful because you need to recognize the difference between a killer item and a bad item. What we're looking for is the level 60 market is going to be absolutely spammed. So if you're going to try and post something at level 60, it better be awesome. It really had better be awesome. Or it better be super cheap and you're prepared to not make a lot of money on it. My big goal would be to go for somewhere between level 0 to 30. People who are starting brand new characters and just want to kit them out very quickly from the start of the game to help them get progressed through and selling stuff for extremely cheap. If we were to go to the level 30 market and see what's going on here, you can see people are posting £200 for an item that no matter how good it is, it's going to be replaced, okay? Unfortunately, that's just ridiculous. What I like is this. £3.25, £2 for the best item on there, a Lancer's Misery. It's a dexterity item. Have you got a strength one on there? No, it's got a nice vitality item there with a strength gem in it. This is the kind of stuff where you're going to make your meat and bones. This is going to put food on the table eventually, and you want lots of these up on the auction house, okay? Lots and lots of them. Because if you don't, you're just going to be pulling in maybe £1, £1.50, or £2 here and there, and that's not going to be worth your time, essentially, because it's going to take longer than that to, one, acquire the weapon, List it, get all that process done. That's bad income overall. What you want to be doing is putting up tons and tons of items. I would recommend that you start saving your yellows, your early on ones, especially on Act 1 of normal mode. Start saving that kind of stuff and then try and get those things up there for a nice, cheap, sturdy price. I think you will start seeing some huge returns. It's generally where the player base is. People don't mind. This is the beauty of the app market, okay? The iPhone app market, the BlackBerry app market, all these things. Nobody minds parting with a couple of pounds to make their life miles easier. They do care when it's up to £100, £125, but nobody's going to really care about £2. They're not going to be bothered, and therefore you let them in. And also look at the people who have got a better strategy here, is that £19.99 or €19.99 is not £20. We see every single day of our lives all over the place, and there's a goddamn reason for that, guys, okay? There is a genuine reason that exists, and that is because 1999 does not start with a 2, and in the brain, 1 is less than 2. It doesn't matter if it's by a penny or by a fraction. 1 is less than 2, and that is what sucks people in. This is great stuff. This siege vessel here, a level 30 weapon, £2 for a weapon that's going to be almost immense DPS for that level. So good. This is really clever. I really like this Lancer's Misery, that kind of item there. If I was going to look for a strength item, let's have a look, see. Strength item. Now, when I search for items in the level 30 category, I'm obviously thinking of items I'm going to replace. So I'm not going to spend £200 on an item I'm going to replace, or $19.99. This, though, £2. This is what you're going to buy. Its DPS is higher. It's got strength gems in it. It's really done to the max. £2. Awesome. Absolutely fantastic. This is where your money's going to be. And it seems like, preach, it's £2. I could get £125. Absolutely not. Nobody's going to pay £100 or £125 for an item that they can get for £2 as well. It's not going to happen. And this is even better here. £1.99. It is less than £2. It is. It's straight up less. Awesome work. This is what we want to see. It's orange. It's £1.99 for an orange item. It's fantastic, okay? That is something I would buy. I would not bother spending £1.99. I wouldn't care about £1.99. Even people without high disposable income would not care about £1.99 to really make their life easier in this game and just troll their way through the rest of the content. Because the hardest part about Diablo 3, in my opinion, and seems to be the vast majority of opinions, is people simply hate the process of having to go through the game 3 times in order to reach Inferno, and then they can start getting to level 60. Level 60 is going to be spammed with items. If you do get some good level 60 items, put them on there nice and cheap, especially if they're decent. Get them below £200 and you're going to start making some money. Alright guys, I could go into sort of spreadsheets and stuff like that with this. I don't really want to do that. I think that's going to be over the top, but I might do it for an enhanced gold making guide in World of Warcraft, where I talk about this stuff more in depth and get some sort of graphs to prove my point. All I'd like to say is this is the best way of doing things. This item here, £1.99, level 30, absolutely fantastic. You could have a better gem in there. That would make it even better. Okay, guys, you take it easy, ballers.